And we're live! Welcome to episode 113 of the MailleWerX Chainmail Livestreams. I'm your host, Sean, and I run MailleWerX.com. And where you can find all your chainmail themed apparel and accessory needs. Alright, tonight we're going to continue this work on the jelly cube. Get it up to size, and then debate about what we're going to do with it. Maybe something else. I don't know yet. Alright, let's go ahead and do the share. Oh, phone's making noise. That's not okay. Right post. There we go. Say hi. Alrighty, let's get started. Let's see what Frank is looking at. What you looking at, Frank? That's pretty good. Pretty good at the setup right there. So this, Sean White has shared your stream. Let's see, actually, do this real quick. So this is what we're working on. A cube of chainmail. A three-dimensional chainmail structure. And we're gonna make it bigger. Hey Barb, how you doing? All right. Oh man, what a day. There we go. All right, so last night we marked off 3 sides to be expanded. So in working on this, I've realized that it doesn't matter if you expand one side and then the opposite side, or if you add 2 layers to one side, right? You're gonna have an incomplete cube if you only do like one side and not the other, which I didn't pick up on right away. So we picked 3 sides last night and added 2 layers to each of them. We added 2 layers to 2 of them. Let me be more specific. And that went really well. This cube is taking on quite a form. I originally was not going to continue working on this cube. I thought that, you know, it was a sloppy little thing when I started out, and I didn't think it would get any better if I added more rings to it, but I talked with a chainmail artist who's much more experienced than I am, and he's like, yeah, just make it bigger. That is what we're doing. This music's giving me some anxiety, like we're gonna fight a boss in a video game, or like we are fighting a boss in a video game. Alright. I don't know if we won. I do enjoy like the video game themed music that comes up on here. It reminds me of my old PlayStation Final Fantasy VII days. I had a copy of the original Final Fantasy VII, and I sat on disc 1, and I've wanted to replace it ever since. But like, what would the point be? right? I don't play enough video games to justify buying it again, but it's one of those things that I want to have, or that I wouldn't mind having. And then I think I went and looked up the, like, what it would cost to get an original copy off of eBay, and they were like $250 or something. I was like, yeah, maybe not. Not, you know, maybe one day, but not today. So if anybody has a disc 1, I have a disc 2, and we can have a complete set between the two of us. Never. My brother was the big computer nerd and big into gaming. Like, I had a Nintendo and a Sega Genesis, and then he got the PlayStation, and he was big into computers and whatnot. And now I have a computer from my brother that I built, and I think I probably have played more video games than him recently. He's about to go out on a boat, on a big ship. He's going to be out for 6 months. And because of the pandemic, out of karaoke, we want to pop in and say hi. Well, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. But he said that because of the pandemic, they're not going to be able to leave the ship. So he's going to be stuck on the ship for 6 months. It was nice to talk to my brother a little bit. You're out of karaoke. That is, I can sing. I do not enjoy karaoke. Right? I have sang publicly. I have done solos in state capitals. I have gone on the little choir tour, all in high school, all in choir, right? Like, not on my own or anything. But yeah, somewhere along the lines, I lost the desire to perform. Not that I can't sing a song in public. Karaoke's never. I think I've done it, right? And I know some people get really into it. You know, they got their like one song or two songs that they really love. And then what is the name of that movie? It is called some movie with Gwyneth Paltrow in it, where her and her estranged father try and go win a karaoke competition. That's all I remember of the movie. But have fun. That's cool that you go out and do that. It's nice to hear that people are getting out and going and doing things. I know so many people who have not had that opportunity. So I imagine that for the people who enjoy engaging in karaoke, that it's a very fun night out for them. Probably the most fun they've had in a long time. So I had quite the day today. Come on. I'm happy to report that my patient with the back ulcer continues to improve. Like, okay. He's got 2 holes in his back, and one of the holes is almost closed, and the skin is thickening up real tight. and then the other hole, there's some hardware that's exposed that's attached to his spine, and there's just this wall of tissue moving towards the hardware, right? And I think that one of these days we're gonna pull the dressing out and that tissue is just gonna have moved over the hardware. I'm hoping, for his sake. He's had quite the issue with it. What have I done here? I did something. It's not supposed to be bent that way. Oh, I went through the wrong ring completely. I don't want to go that way. Oh no, I've lost my spot. There we go. There we go. Here it is. My next couple of patients were doing all right. I did get to go out to a very wealthy part of Wisconsin and hang out with a guy who needed some care. Some multi-million-dollar homes where I was at. Very nice. I couldn't afford the taxes there if I wanted to, or the house. Like, even if I got a house for free, right? Like, I'd have to sell it right away because taxes would kill me. But it's a very lovely gated community with some very awesome houses in it, which is quite different than my general clientele, right? I think I've seen two very wealthy people, and you know, real nice houses, real nice people. Very, very different than the bulk of the people I see. A lot of my patients are, they have some cognitive dysfunction that prevents them from leading normal lives, and so alright, am I all done with these layers? We'll just start in the middle here. Yeah, most of my patients have some cognitive dysfunction that prevents them from leading normal lives, and you know, they live in community housing or group homes and whatnot. If anyone ever asks you, you know, do you want to participate? Do you want to start a group home? I would politely say no. That is my recommendation. This is not financial advice, but yeah, this is not a business model I would ever want to get involved in. And not because it's like a bad job or anything. Like, clearly someone needs to provide that service, but simply because, like, I don't believe there's any benefit. Like, it's a lot of work for a low amount of reward. Oh, where'd you go? Found the gravity. Back here. Alright. After I get done streaming, I'm gonna be up for a little bit. I've got a little bit of computer work to do, and then I have to at least dedicate like an hour to getting all my tax paperwork together. Right? I've waited long enough. I've put it off long enough. I need to get it done. Today was my long day. There's a lot of driving today. I drive about an hour and 15 minutes away from my house in order to go see some of my patients. And then of course the very affluent patient, right? His address was completely wrong in the computer. The contact phone number was for his ex-wife. So we finally did get a hold of somebody and did manage to get out and see him, but I went to a apartment complex. First, and I knocked on the door, and some guy answers. Is like, "Hi, how can I help you?" It's a very friendly individual. Like, no one needs medical care here. So finally got a hold of the daughter, and I got the right address from her. It was about, they were probably about, I think they're 15 miles apart, the address that was in the computer and the actual home of the patient. I got back into town just a little bit before it was time to go pick up my kid, so I got some charting done while waiting in line to go pick him up. And then, of course, loads of fun stuff. Cooking, cleaning, making dinner, whatnot. All the regular stuff. But I didn't get down here in time to get any of my tax paperwork ready to go. It's fine. I'll get it. So how is everybody else? What's going on in your guys' day? Let's see here. It's Wednesday, so two more days this week, and then comes the weekend. Anybody got any big plans? I've got the battery out of the mower. Out of the riding lawnmower. I'm gonna plug it in on Friday night, so that way I can go and pop it in the mower on Saturday. Get the riding lawnmower started up and going and mow my yard. And if you watch the stream at all, you'll know that that is one of just my most favorite things to do in the world. be the first time I had to go out and do yard work this spring. I have okay, so I used to have a push mower for my yard, and I've got like a I've got like a third of an acre. So it's not the hugest yard in the world, but my push mower did not have any forward assist. And I have the yard inclines real bad. So I was using this broken lawnmower that we brought up from Texas. I broke the forward assist the first year we were here from Texas. And it was perfectly fine lawnmower. Everything else worked on it. You just had to get behind it and push. Alright? I cannot tell you how absolutely exhausting that was. Alright. What'd I do here? Oh, I see. Can go through enough rings. There we go. All right. What's going on, Wally? How you doing, buddy? You should check this thing out. Like, it's ridiculously cube-like at this point. These 18 gauge 1/8 rings are just perfect. You're monkeying with some helm weave tonight. Nice. It's a good weave. Helm weave and Celtic Vision. Two of my favorites. And their little variants. They got a couple variants. Yeah, it's coming along. That is for sure. One more layer on top here and we'll be all cubed up. Helm weave sheet to be exact. Very nice. What do you, is it a piece of jewelry? Is it a structural piece? Are you just making some helm weave sheet just for fun? Oh, where was I? I was on my phone. I saw someone's quite dainty little helm weave necklace earlier today. Popped up when I was looking at stuff on Etsy. Come on. I think the only helm weave I've made is out of 18 gauge 3/16 and 16 gauge 5/16, and it is anything but dainty. But someone found some really nice ring sizes and made a necklace out of it. I thought it worked pretty well. You like the 4-in-1 dress the guy built and wanted to see if you could edge something nicer. Nice. Using 18 gauge 3/16 and 16 gauge 5/16. It's a good ring size for that weave. You know? I had, let's see here. On one of the many variations of the coffee cup that I first wrapped in Iraq, I had a helm weave edge around the top and the bottom. AR with a 16 gauge and 5/16 seems tight. It might be, I have no idea. I use the, I believe, well, they were TRL rings, and I'm pretty sure those are standard wire gauge rings. So if it's American wire gauge, it may be a little bit different. And then also, I know that even if, you know, if they are Ring Lord rings or if they're your rings or whichever, depending on how true your spring back. Okay, so when you wrap the wire and you get the spring back, right, that can vary the diameter of the ring. And so while it may work in some materials like brass and bronze and stainless, you may not have enough spring back in, say, a softer material like copper or aluminum. All your rings are SWG? Yeah, okay, I figured. Being in Canada and all, I assumed that that's what you guys used. I remember my first run-in with the difference between standard wire gauge and American wire gauge. I said that I assumed you used SWG. And I don't remember what I said after that. I don't. Here. If it's standard wire gauge, then the issue may be the mandrel, right? Or it could be the material, is all I was saying. Wow. Okay, so, and I'm sure Wally knows this, but for everyone else, right? In order to make a ring, you wrap wire around a metal rod called a mandrel. And depending on the size of that mandrel, right, and the amount of spring back in the metal that you're using, that will determine your actual ring size, right? So a ring might be advertised as 18 gauge 3/16, but it could be a whole 1/16 of an inch off, because especially for very springy metals like stainless steel, right, they have what's called spring back, where they unwind after you wind them up on the mandrel. So that creates little variations. So, and then if the mandrel is a completely different If the mandrel is an exact 3/16 diameter, right, then your ring is almost always going to be bigger than 3/16, right? So you have to trim down the mandrel in order to account for springback. If you want if you want a ring diameter true to size. Otherwise, it's, you know, you're going to have some springback and the ring's going to be just a little bit different. And most ring size complications only arise when you have very aspect ratio sensitive weaves. Yeah, some vendors will use a smaller mandrel to make the ID more true. Yeah. On our site, you wind around the mandrel, then list actual clipped numbers. Nice. That's good to know, right? An important piece of information. Like, what is the actual ring size, so you can determine the aspect ratio, and that way you can figure out what weaves you can make with what rings, right? Which is what, you know, it's really what we all want to know. It's a whole lot easier, like on Maille Artisans International League, right? They'll list the aspect ratio next to the weave, and on Chainmailer's custom database, I forget what it's called, Josh Diliberto's project and Jen Martinez's project, where they're cataloging weaves on there, aspect ratio is listed. And the aspect ratio is just a measurement that tells you what rings will work for what weave. And how it works is, if you have a 2x4 Lego brick, right, that has the same aspect ratio as a 2x4 Duplo brick, right, which has the same aspect ratio as an 8x12 concrete block, right? You can build all the same items, like whether it's a Lego house, a Duplo house, or a concrete block house, out of these blocks, and all these blocks have the same aspect ratio, right? So in the same way, you can use rings of various diameter and gauge to make different weaves. It's a quick way to figure out what rings are going to work for what weaves is all. And the sooner you get it all figured out, the faster, happier weaving, or the faster you will get to happier weaving. So there's a lot of little technical things that really help. Right, knowing that what springback is, knowing what aspect ratio is, you know, knowing and understanding the manufacturing process of how a ring is made by each manufacturer, in order to understand why some rings are different than others, right? Like, for example, many anodized aluminum rings have problems when they're used in projects that are sensitive to aspect ratios, because the anodization on aluminum can make the wire too thick for the weave. I know a lot of people struggle. They'll order a batch of rings and then be upset when it doesn't work, and it's just because the coloring process of the aluminum made the wire too thick. And it's not generally a big issue. It's just something to keep in the back of your mind when... I mean, you've seen me. I order rings all willy-nilly and don't have projects lined up for any of them. And I always seem to make something out of stuff. So, but if you have a project, it's good to go into a project, you know, knowing whether or not it's sensitive to aspect ratio or not, and that'll save you time and frustration in the long run. Another good chainmail tidbit. If I were to start over again, I would tell myself to buy a tumbler as fast as I could. Also, never work in galvanized steel, and yeah. Don't use galvanized steel for anything. That would have saved me a lot of time and trouble early on in my chainmail career. Tumbler, don't use galvanized steel. God. Get some good pliers. I've put off investing in Xerons or Knipex pliers. Largely because what I have works. But I did buy, these are Wubbers. Right? Here in my left hand, and they were a little expensive. They were probably one of the better long-term plier investments I've ever made. Use crushed walnut shells to tumble the bright aluminum. There you go. That's a good one. Good tidbit if you need to shine up your bright aluminum. Or just buy rings from Wally and have them shine them up for you. What I'd do. Come on. Here we go. Some walnut shells, a little Dawn dish soap. Don't mix the Dawn dish soap with the walnut shell, but hot water and Dawn dish soap go a long way in cleaning up dirty rings, I have found. In a tumbler. Very nice tidbit of information to know. But a tumbler and some good pliers. I would encourage people to buy rings. Buy as many rings as you can, as opposed to making them. Right? Even the ring manufacturer that people like the least makes way better rings, and I don't know which ring manufacturer that is, right? I'm just saying there has to be, if you took a poll of all the chainmail artists in the world who ordered their rings from suppliers, there would be one that was at the bottom. Whichever one that is, right, makes better rings, period, than I ever could. And so no matter, you know, without some investing in some industrial equipment, right? I'm not making my own rings. Other people to do that. Because I need to spend my time weaving, right? Not making rings. Ain't the division of labor grand? Right. Last couple of rings on this edge here. Or this side. I guess it's also an edge. I do enjoy having a scale to weigh pieces, but it's not necessary unless you're using precious metals. Then I would say it's necessary. Okay. I had this weird idea early on that when I made something, I needed to be like a chainmail purist, right? Everything on a piece had to be like all chainmail except for maybe the clasp, right? So I made like little chainmail beads for some necklaces, and I mean it turned out pretty cool. But there are people using pendants and accessories that are not chainmail, and they make pieces that come out really cool. So don't be, don't corner yourself into a niche where you think that all I can use to make something is chainmail and it's all got to be chainmail. And I don't know why I had this belief early on, but I did. All right, we are all cubed out here, right? How many rings wide is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so this is 9 rings wide, and it's got that jelly cube feel to it. It's awesome, right? I'm super happy with this. I wonder. Let's see here. What? 43 minutes. Okay, we're gonna put this aside because I need to think about this for a little bit. Do I want to make this bigger? Do I want to make another one? Do I want to give this to my nephew? Do I want to keep it for myself and make my nephew another one? My son picked this up and he's like, I want one. I was like, well, I'll teach you how to make one when you're older. And when you die, when I die, I can have all my, when I die, you can have all my chainmail. That's what I said to my son. Like, you can have it. 50 years. Wife says she just wants to swish it. What did this take me? 3 hours? I had to start before I worked on it last night. How many streams is this now? 3, 4 streams? Alright. Alright, so we're gonna set that aside. I gotta figure out what I want to do with it. Because if I'm gonna continue working on it, I want like a jelly cube, this big. For no reason. Just to make one, right? Just to have a jelly cube as big as my head. Okay? Like, no other reason than to just have one. That would probably take a couple years. Alright. So, yeah, maybe... Alright, what I want to do now, we're going to get out the Raiders flag and we're going to add some loops to it. I can probably get one good loop in before the hour's up. Put Frank back on here. Alright, I've got 3 loops already. And 1, 2, and 3. I've done 2 to this side. I need to add 1 more over here. And hopefully I have enough rings left to finish all these loops. I think I do. I think I'll be okay. You know, gotta get a little bit of actual work done. Can't play all the time. These are the loops that... Okay, so I gotta finish these loops, and then I will do the dowel rod. I'll paint the dowel rod. And then I will package it up and FedEx it to my buddy who, you know, okay, so we worked on this for like 63 hours or something. Like, that's how many hour-long streams I have of just this Raiders flag, pretty much. And my friend, who I am giving this to, is on Facebook, and he's I don't know how, he's probably pretty busy right now. So I don't think he's seen a single episode of any of the work that I've done on this yet. So I'm hoping I'll send it to him, he'll have a big surprise, and then he'll go back and check out all the videos. I think that'd be fun. I think he's gonna absolutely lose his mind when he sees it, so I'm excited. I need to call his wife beforehand. Need to get a hold of her. So that way, like, when he opens it up, I can get like a picture of his face as he's opening it and realizing what it is. I would like that. Tomorrow, as of right now, I don't have any extra work. So hopefully I can get through it and get home, finish up the tax stuff, and then what else do I gotta do? I got house stuff to do. Okay, so I got my toolbox out of the shed once the snow melted finally. Inside that toolbox is a special drill bit that'll drill through ceramic. I've got to put a doorstop on some ceramic tile that is the baseboard in my kid's bathroom. When we replaced the baseboard in there with the tile, we didn't have a place to put the doorstop. And we've been risking having a doorknob size hole punched into the wall ever since. Fortunately, hasn't happened. You know, knock on wood. I got that drill bit now, and I got my drill all charged up. Shouldn't take but like 5 minutes. 5 minutes in a vacuum. Gotta get that done. It's a whole lot quicker and cheaper than fixing drywall. I also have some drywall that needs to be fixed. Moving some furniture and put some dents in it. I got some of that putty to put in there and then got to sand it down and paint over it, but I might do that this weekend. We'll see how I feel. mow the lawn, wash the bike, get the bike out. That's gonna be good for my soul to get out and go on a ride. Hopefully I don't lose track of all the days again this week. We'll see on Friday where I'm at. Oh, man. Man. Not a whole lot else going on, just work and household stuff. You know, got the nightly child loses his mind over Fortnite routine that we are desperately trying to break out of. Like, I'm all for just deleting the game off the PlayStation. Like, yeah, I don't, you know, go find something else to do. He gets overly animated, and then he gets frustrated when he dies. And it's like, well, you're playing a game about killing, you know, or about shooting other people, right? Nobody really dies, they just go to they go back to the lobby or wherever and then start over. So, it's all his aunt's fault. She was the first one to give him a phone so that he could go play games when he was, how old was he when we moved up here? He was 2? Either way, he wasn't very old, and his aunt, he was over at, or we were staying with my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, and, he wanted, some attention, and she gave him her phone. Been downhill ever since then. It's all her fault. I should, like, FaceTime her during one of his meltdowns and just, you know, like, hey, this is your fault. I'm sure she would appreciate that. Other than that, though, he's a pretty good kid. He had spring break all last week, and he's getting back into the routine of going to school. Pretty sure he's going to grow soon, too, because he won't stop eating on, when was it, on Sunday? No, on Monday, when I got home from work. He was just watching some TV, and he goes, I'm gonna take a nap now. And he lays down for an hour. Jeez, dude. He's in the 99th percentile for height and weight. He's gonna be a big guy when he grows up. He got out on his bike the other day, and I realized that I'm gonna have to get him a new bike here pretty quick. He tried to, he got me to take the training wheels off for about, after multiple attempts at riding with them on. And then he tried riding without the training wheels for like 2 seconds, and he was like, nope, I'm gonna go do something else. All right, kiddo, you know. His knees are hitting the handlebars, so it's a little bit, his bike's a little bit too small for him. I have to grab him a new one. Get him one without training wheels, so if he wants to ride it, he's gonna have to learn. Okay, got 3 more of these loops. 4, maybe 5. 5 more loops, and I'll be all done. One, 2, 6. Got part of one started. Yeah, that is TRL Black from like 10 years ago. No longer, 15 years ago. I've yet to have the pleasure of trying other people's rings except yours, Wally. And my own. I tried making my own for a long time. I was somewhat successful, but they weren't a high quality ring by any stretch of the imagination. So... Alright. Now we got about half of one loop done. Pretty happy with that. Let me show you. Oh, breaking stuff here. I'm glad you can support me too. I do appreciate it. Alright. So that's what it is almost going to look like while it's hanging. Yep, and there's the whole thing. I think came out pretty good. Then it'll have little wall hooks on either side, and it'll all hang nicely. I'm pretty excited. It's gonna be my best inlay, period. So, and then most nicely finished, you know what I mean? Alright, this stuff cleaned up and out of the way. Where's that ring going? Alright, this is, that's the work we did tonight. We embiggened the jelly cube a little bit. Got a little loop on little loop started on the Raiders inlay. I should be finished up with it in the next little bit. I haven't got word on the wine bottle holster yet. I'm not sure if my friend Justin got it or not. Hopefully he got it without an issue, or he will get it without an issue and can wear it to his Renaissance Festival down there. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. All right, guys. It has been an hour of fun and merriment and lots of chainmail. All kinds of good stuff going on. We are getting more and more done every day. So thank you everyone who's hanging out. Please do go check out MailleWerX.com for all your apparel, chainmail themed apparel and accessories. You think I'd know my own tagline, but I don't. Also, check out chain-reaction.ca where we got these awesome rings. These are the 18 gauge 1/8 rings. They are perfect for a jelly cube if you want to make one yourself. And that's chain-reaction.ca. All right. Check out those two websites. Go get yourself some rings. Get yourself some chainmail gear. And I will talk to you guys later. If not tomorrow night, then at the latest Friday. You guys have a good night.